Hello guys, I take this chance again to welcome you back to the channel. So today this was a special request, or one of you asked for the documentation because I had prepared the database. I can quickly launch the database so that you can see it. Let's wait for it to load. Remember, this video is about the documentation, not the database. If you've not have a look at the database, you can go to the previous videos. Here's the database. I think I went through it on the other video, and all the errors I've corrected. So now it's working fine. It's good. You can still get it at the fee that I told you. Yeah, so we can jump into this. Was the database. You can now close it and go back to the documentation. So the documentation here first has the cover page. So here is where you'll feed in your details, your name, your index number, your school, your year, and where submitted to. Then let me jump quickly to it. Then there is the declaration, where do you give a declaration that the work is yours, and the rest. We have the acknowledgement. This is where you acknowledge everyone you want to thank for the completion of the successful completion of the project. Then we have the dedication. This is the part where you tell us who would you like to dedicate the project to. In this case, this was Uzima Borehole, so you can say we'll dedicate it to maybe farmers, workers, and or environment managers maybe. Then here we have the table of contents. Remember that this table of contents you have to insert it, but not insert it manually. Just go to the reference tab. You will find it here, the table of contents. Make sure that you label your headings accordingly. So with me here, I have all the titles, major titles. I have the declaration as you have seen, the acknowledgement, the dedication, and you have now the first page, or the first chapter. Remember, this project I should do it in 7 chapters, so I'm gonna skip through the I'm gonna skim through the first chapter very fast. Let me just go there. Just click on Control plus what you want to go, or where you want to go on the link. So quickly, this is my first chapter. Remember, it has the major headings, or what you are required to have in the first chapter. I can go through it very fast. This is still my table of contents. We have where you recognize the problem at hand. Then you have to define the problem. Then we have the overview of the old system. Overview of the old system. This is where you try to look at how the current system or the old system is functioning. That is, before you decide to go to the new system or switch to the system which you are developing, you have to have a look, or define how the old system looks like. So in this case, or in this stage, the development team will have to go to the development team will have to study or look at the old system, how it's behaving. Maybe they can decide to have a look at the transaction process, how the clients are registered, how the services are offered, how the plumbing services are saved, how the accounting is done. So in this case, they will just have a look at the transaction process, of the overall functioning process of the system. That's what you mean by overview of the old system. So you give us something, maybe how the old system is functioning, yeah, maybe the shortcomings about it, maybe you might have some disadvantages that maybe it took time to save records and the rest. Maybe there was errors when it came to service delivering, things like that. So this here is the problem. You had been given the question paper. So just give us the shortcomings of the old system, as I've done here. Give us the problem that you faced. Then next you have to give us the overview of the proposed system. In this case, you currently want to switch between the old system, from the old system to the new system. So in this case, you have to tell us how does the new system looks like, or how does the new system look like. In this case, you have to give us an overview. Then we go to the scope. Scope is like the functioning of the system, maybe what is it intended to do. So you give us what it is intended to do. Then in this case, you'll have the not feasibility, but you have the benefits of the system. So in this case, the benefits of the system, what will we encounter, or what will we get or benefit from, maybe from switching from the new system to the old system. But I'm saying switching from the old system to the new system, or what benefits will we realize. So taking an example, we can have maybe even at schools, maybe if in the libraries they offer or they give out books using library cards. So now the question at hand here is what will be the benefits of trying to bring in or come up with a management system, a computerized management system. So maybe one, obviously it would reduce the time taken to borrow a book, because now you will have to key in details. So relating that one to Uzima Borehole, if for instance in the old system you said that it took time to save records because maybe clients had to travel from place to place to save the records or get registered, and again still when they are making the borehole or they are ordering their services, they still have to travel back there again and ask for their services, and you see this again is time consuming, and still losses may be realized, because you can still add another problem that when the clients got there, the members, or not the members, but those who are working there at Uzima, maybe they were absent, but they didn't notify the client. So that is still another problem, maybe you can say, about the old system. So when you are trying to discuss the benefits of the new system, now this is where benefits of the new system, this is where now you try to tell us how will that bringing in that your database system, how will it be of benefit to the Uzima company. If for instance you had said a problem is that it takes time to save records, how will it be solved when you bring in a system or a computerized system? Then another thing I have to say is that you have to look at all the shortcomings that you told us, and still give us the benefits of using a computerized system to overcome these shortcomings. So after you are through with that, I guess we can go to the other part, that is the feasibility study. So in this case, the feasibility study, obviously you have to manage or know how your technology, your finances, your development team, your machines that you are using, you have to still carry out an investigation on them to determine whether they are enough to develop the system. So about the feasibility is like the cost study of developing the system. So in this case, the feasibility, you have to consider the types of feasibility. So when you tell us about feasibility, you have to talk about the schedule feasibility, economic, technical, and operational feasibility, the 4 types of feasibility that we have. You have to discuss about them a little bit. If it's schedule, this is where you say maybe you wanted or you had a meeting with your fellow members, and this the following were the agreements that you agreed. Maybe you agreed you will increase some contact time so that you can develop the system in the 7 months. Maybe you will add more members to the team, and maybe have more working hours and something like that. About the schedule feasibility, this is the feasibility where you tell us how do you plan to, so that you can complete the system in the stipulated time. Then you can go to the other one, the technical feasibility. Remember, you are developing a system using let me just try to use a notepad so that I can explain well. The other one is technical feasibility. These are mostly your machines. So in this case, you have to determine whether your machines they have the latest technology to develop the system. Maybe they have the latest softwares, and maybe some other considerations that you have to put in, because in this case you are developing your system. So you have to again have a study about your machines, get to know how they are functioning, if they need some upgrading, and the likes. So in this case, you can tell us about if you needed more computers to develop the system, maybe if you needed more software, maybe, or if, for example, you might be using a software on Windows 7, but in this case you have to switch to Windows 10, the latest version, or 11 maybe, whichever you want to use. So in this case, you have to tell us that you are switching from Windows 7 up to Windows 11. So again, that is a feasibility study, but you still have to tell us the cost of doing that. So that is about the technical feasibility. That is the technology of the machines. That's where you have to take note or take study, so that you can actually develop your system. Then you have the operational. This is where now your workers or the system developers. So in this case, you have again to determine whether your developers are skilled enough to develop the system. You cannot decide to develop this system and maybe some minor members, maybe let's say you are 20 of you, but again you find among the 20 of you there are 4 which were not properly skilled. So the 4 of them still will need some skills. So and then the 16 can continue. The 16 to continue. So you'll talk about the receiving of skills for the 4 members. So what we mean by operational feasibility, you have to study or investigate let's say investigate your team. They must have the necessary skills to develop the system. Maybe they must have known a particular programming language, like let's say Visual Basic Application. They must know maybe another, but in this case, because you are doing KCSE, only you talk about the Visual Basic Application because you are developing using Microsoft Access. But when you get to a higher level, you have to when it comes to project like this information system, you have to have a vast knowledge of programming languages, So when it comes to this skill, you have to test whether your members have those skills, whether it's Python, Java, JavaScript, React, PHP, wherever, those programming languages, the C#, the C++, you know them. You have to again investigate if they have those skills. So if they have the skills, you can now proceed to the development process, that's the SDLC. Yeah, I think you know what that is. So in this case, after you are through with that feasibility, you go to the other one. Then we have the last one, that is economical feasibility. Yeah, in this case, for an economical feasibility, in most cases, the expenditure or what you spend must realize profits for you to develop the system. For instance, let's say you had set up, maybe you'll need 10 million for the development of the system, but in the other hand you spent 12 million. So in this case you already have a loss of 2 million. So if you already have a loss, you cannot continue developing the system, because you have losses, and you had planned for 10 million, but you spent 12 million. So there was no need, because you have realized losses. So you still have to make sure a profit is realized. So let's say you used 8 million for the development. So in this case you'll have positive 2 million as your profit. So when it is there is profit, which means the project now can be carried out, although this one you do it in the last stage, because you have to look at what you need. You have the you can have for instance the payment of your workers, the transport fees, the upgrading fees, the maybe remember in this case, if you told us that 4 members needed training, you still have to include that. So when it comes to economic feasibility, you have to draw for us a table that is explaining each commodity, the price that you had set, and the actual that you spent, and the profit or loss maybe there is. Then you have to account for the total profit or the total loss, so that you can go to the next stage. So in this case, the economical, you just account for the money that you need to develop that particular system. So you can I think we are through with that chapter. That was chapter 1, and we have the second chapter, that is information gathering. So in this chapter, normally after you are through with the feasibility, you proceed here. This is where you gather information, or so that you can develop that system. There is some information that you need, because you just can't develop it like that, and you haven't acquired any information from maybe the client, or it can be maybe clients, or it can be maybe clients, it can be the workers at Uzima, or any other person maybe that knows that company very well. So in this case, you might decide to obtain information about how the company works. Maybe you can interview or questionnaire a client about some crucial data that you may need to develop the system. For instance, if I want to develop that system, I don't know what services they provide. Yeah, I don't know how much they charge for each service. I don't know. Even don't know how they register people. What is required to register people? I must interview at least various people, so that I get to know different problems. So in this case, you had already defined the problem, so I just want to confirm it from the clients or workers. So in this case, the clients, the workers, you have to either questionnaire them, give them interviews, and the rest. So you just give them some interviews. Remember, an interview, you just have to give the question that you asked, the answer that was given by the other person. But for a questionnaire, you just prepare some sample questions with some empty slots for them to choose the answers to fill in. Then you have to tell them when they should submit the questionnaire to your offices. Then the other thing you have to tell us in this chapter or in this section the advantage of each information gathering method. We can have questionnaires, we have interviews, we have sampling, we have observations, all the other methods that you can use. So you just have to tell us more about what you used, then the data that you obtained. Then we go to the third chapter, that is requirement specification. So in this case, remember, this stage typically deals with what is required by for you to develop that system, maybe what you will use. If for instance you will require some computers, so you have to talk about the computers that you need. Maybe for instance, if it's in that company, you tell them what they will buy for them to run that system. If you use the Dell desktop, maybe has a RAM of 8 GB, has a processor of Core i7, and maybe has an internal storage of 1 TB. So you must tell them what you used to develop the system, starting with the hardware. As I've said, the computer that you used. If there is internet requirements, you still add them. If there are printers that you require, you still add them. There are digitizers, stylers, and the rest, you tell us. All the hardware components that you need, you have to tell them the one that you used. And with me, here is my sample. So you just have to tell us the name, the type, then the cost. Maybe you still have to include the cost. Maybe for me, I used a computer. I used the type of a computer at a cost of that. Then a printer, the type of printer and the cost. The flash disk, the type of flash disk, the costs. Maybe power sources, still electricity you are using, still turn of the type in the cost. Then the next thing you ought to talk about. So in this case, if you need more of, or if you need to add more to this, you can still add maybe the disk capacity. You can quickly add it. This here is 5. Then we have the memory, and we have maybe 8 GB. Maybe it's DDR5 non-removable type of RAM. This one goes for 5,000. So you can have that there. Maybe then maybe you can have storage disks. Maybe 1 TB. Again goes for 5,000 shillings. Then in this case, you can maybe decide to sum this up. I'll show you how. You just have to highlight your values there. Let me look for the totals tab over here. Then in this case, I found it is on the under the layout tab. You go to the layout tab, then under the data, you go to the formula. Then in this case, if you want to get the total of this, you just type here, you change this to sum above. You type well above. So if you want to get the totals, oh, I'm sorry, I should have inserted a field here. Let me insert another table here. Then over here now I can sum up my values there. Yeah, gives me a total of 162,000. Here I can add a label of total. 162,000 is what you require for maybe the installation process and the running. Then after you are through with adding all your hardware components, you can now go to the factors that you consider when purchasing hardware. You know them, you learn them in Form 1. You can talk about them maybe. So just tell us the factors that you consider when you are buying hardware: compatibility, user friendliness, authenticity, and upgradability. The type of computer that you choose, you have to again know if it is upgradable, like in this case the memory, the storage capacity, is it upgradable, the processor, and the likes. Then after you are through, you go to the your software requirements. In this case, you tell us the software that you used, if it's an operating system, which one, and the costs, the application that you used. I used Office 2013 in developing the database, costs that. The Internet Explorer, if you use the internet maybe to carry out your researches, still include it. But in this case mine was free because the Microsoft Edge is installed on my computer, as you can see over here. Here it is, so it's free because it comes with a computer. Then we have the factors that you will consider when you are buying software. So user friendliness, is the software user friendly? Can one navigate through it very easily without problems? Is it compatible? Or when we decide to install the system, will we have minimum errors when it comes to installation issues and the likes? So you have to talk about it just the way as I've said, everything in detail. You have to talk about it the way you considered. Then we have the other chapter, that is the system design. There is a fourth chapter. You have to again look at the system flow chart. This one I cannot show to you because of safety purposes. But if you buy the system, you get to see it, the system flow chart. Then we have the system flow chart. You have to show us the general logic or flow of the system. The flow of the system, such that if you come to register yourself, you have the flow of the system. Yeah, so first you know you have to register yourself. If you are already registered, then you can maybe fetch your details, then maybe choose the service that you want, then maybe pay the fees, maybe receipt, and maybe now we can have the reports. So that is just a simple flow of maybe the registration process. So on the other hand, if you are not registered, you still have to get the registration form. Yeah, maybe key in your details, then save, then again you can access the services. Then maybe details again, then you can have receipt after pay, then we can have now the reports of all the services that the registered member has asked for. So in that case you will talk about that. You just show the logical flow, and in this case you have to remember the symbols of the flow chart. can go to that very fast. So my project here has those symbols, you can get to know them. So if for instance you want to print a report, you have to show using this symbol, display an on-page connector, manual input, a start or stop, a flow direction. You still have to show all of them. Then if you can proceed to the other part, that is the design of the tables. You remember this chapter is about the designing. Before you get to construct your database, you have to design it. So in this case, you just draw some tables using Microsoft Word. Just go to the insert tab, the table. You can insert your table according to your dimensions that you want. You insert it, then you have to show us the field name and its data type. Then include all of your fields in that side. So you have to again design all your tables the way you want. So after you are through with that, you have to you have to go to your forms. So in that case, after you are through your table design, you have to go to the form design. The form design, that is the input screens. So the forms lie under the input screens. You have to design them again. Then we have, you can again design your reports like that. Then after you are through with that, you go to the other chapter. That is the 5th chapter. That is where now you construct your systems or what you designed. It's now when you get to construct them. Remember, if you told us that your table are these data types, it still must reflect in the other out or in this chapter. So if you constructed 10 tables in chapter 4, you still have to show us here the overall process of how it was done. So you construct your inputs first, there's the tables, forms, then you go to the output, the queries, the reports, yeah, and the rest you have seen me have just inserted. You just insert your screenshots as you developed in the database. So you just come to your database the way you developed it, take a screenshot of what you developed and add it here. Then we can now go to the 6th chapter, that is system implementation and testing. This is where now you finally, after you've already tested or not tested but developed your system, you can decide to implement it. In this case, you have to debug it, what we mean by testing. Then you have to talk about the changeover strategies, the staff training, and the whatever that is needed for them to move from there. This chapter entails the movement of the system from old to the new one. So if you are changing from the old to the new, what you require, maybe you might require some staff training, yeah, maybe some staff training, maybe all the clients who are there or the members who are there had no adequate skills when it comes to operating computers. So you can still decide to train them again. That's what you mean. Maybe they might receive some training about using the app or your software or your database management system. You can still train them. Then we have the changeover strategies. This is where now you consider the types of changeover strategies that we have. Remember, we have 3 of them. We have the phased, we have the parallel, and we have the straight. So in this case, we talk about all of them. The phased, remember the phased is where you implement a system using phases. Maybe you can have this phase this time, the other one this time, until you are complete. A good example is the current education system that we have. We are switching from the CBC to the not from the CBC but from the 844 to the CBC system. That is an example for phased changeover. Then we have the parallel. Parallel is where you use the both of them together until you are satisfied or you are confident with the new system. such that you can use the old system maybe to do a certain task, still compare it to the new system. Again, this is still cost consuming, because running the two systems, you see, you require people to be on this side, on the other side still requires some money, or is still expensive. So that is one advantage of the parallel system, or the parallel changeover strategy, such that it is very much expensive when it comes to running them. Then we have the straight changeover. This one means immediately you bring the new system to the company, they will stop using the old system and immediately reinforce on the new system, or embark on the new system without having to consider the old system. So that was the straight changeover. That's how it means. Yeah, and I think you can go on with your testing. Yeah, you can have some sample data. Testing now is where you debug. You can show us some test data. Yeah, the data that's used to test, so that you can make sure the system works. So after you are through with that, you come to the review and maintenance. So this is where you review your system. Maybe you can tell us about you decide to, or your company will decide to check on the system after every maybe 2 years, 5 years, 1 year. Remember, you have to come back again to the system or to the company to check if they what they wanted was achieved. If they wanted faster registration of clients, you still have to come and confirm that if it meets what was required. Yeah, so this is where you talk about after how long will you come to check on the proceeding of the system. If you need some upgradings, yeah, if you need maybe to change something, to modify the system maybe, or again to discontinue it, you still have to include in this stage. Then you can give us the problems that you encountered when you are developing the system. This is the last stage. The problem that you encountered, maybe there was no time for there was minimum time, there was frequent electricity losses. There was frequent electricity losses when it comes to developing the system. You can talk about all those problems that you encountered, but at last you conclude by thanking everyone because of the time. You thank God for giving you a time to develop the system. Yeah, so it comes to conclusion. This is where now you conclude. You tell us you conclude, tell us maybe how did you feel when developing the system, yeah, and the likes. So that was all about the system. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, so you can get both of them how I said. So here's my database. As you can see, first the splash screen is displayed, so wait for it to load and come to completion. Yeah, as you can see, there is my welcome screen or my home screen. It has some advertisements. You have the borehole drilling services, you have the plumbing services, you have the pump installation services, and you also have the service together with other services. So with me here on the dashboard, I have some navigation bars at the left. These are all of them. I have the home tab, I have the client, purchases, plumbing, installation of tanks. Then you have the sites for reports, we have the sites for settings, and we have those for accounts. So for my home here is the active one. We see it displays some advertisements, the 4 of them. I think we'll be adding more in the coming days. Then on the left, right side, we have still a picture there of how what the system entails. Then if we go to the next page, that is the next client, we can register another person. We just have to feed in the details. For example, let's say John Oluoch. We can have his address as 78, living in Kisumu. So his telephone number, can guess a number. Location is in Kisumu. Occupation we can say is a farmer. Email address we can have john at gmail.com. Then gender, you have to choose whether it's a male or a female. So we have a male. Then the date of registration we have, let's say today, it's on 4th of February. We can save. Then on my right side here, we have the report. So one advantage of this is that you don't have to navigate again to look for the registration report. You can actually view it from here. You just click on view full report. Then we can see we have just registered journal watch. Here is his details in this side, and these are all the other members that have registered. So I just close that. So that is the registration form. Then we have the purchase. Here is where when one asks for borehole drilling services, we feed in the details here. So we just say add a record. Then we have the client name. We choose one. Let's say journal watch again. The survey option, maybe he wants it in an industry. Remember there were three options. There was an industry, as you can see here, there was industrial, domestic, and commercial. Industry is at your industry, domestic at your home, and commercial is for business purposes. Then, as you can see, these values here automatically fill themselves, and then we can choose a drilling option. Let's give him a core drilling. Yeah, the value is still automatically fed in. Then we can have a pump type. Let's say is a solar pump. Then the height of his borehole, let's say is 20 meters. Then we can calculate the total. As you can see here, message box is displayed that the total is 380,000 and a tax of 60,800 has been charged. Remember, a tax was 60% of the total service. So 60% of 16%, sorry, not 60. 16% of this should amount to this. Then you are told thank you for purchasing from us. Proceed to the receipt. So you just click on OK. Then you can save your record. Then if you still want again to view the report, just click on the right side. As you can see, journal watch here. His details are successfully updated together with the total amount and everything. So we just close that. Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot the date of request for him. Let's say he requested it on 14th, and now you can save. Yeah, and the date here is displayed. So let's close that. Let's go to the next one. You have the plumbing services, where you still get the plumbing services. So you have to add a record again. Then you choose another person. I'm gonna still use John Aluch because it's the newest member. Then you have to choose the pipe of type. And you remember, if I take you back to the system, you are told that the pipes or these plumbing services, the plumbing services are charged according to the type of pipes, diameter in inches, the length of the pipes, and the number of outlets. So in this case, I'll choose the type of pipe. Maybe it's a polyvinyl chloride one or a copper pipe, whichever you want. And the dimensions are here together with the total cost. So I choose them, they automatically choose themselves. So the number of outlets I'll choose for him because we are providing plumbing in his house. So he has to provide us with the number of outlets that he wants. Let's say there are 5. Then we will require 4 pipes, maybe not 4, let's be realistic, maybe 6 pipes, and then we can calculate the totals. So he will pay us a total of 34,500 and a tax of 5,000 is charged. So we'll save that record. So let's go to the report and see whether his details are updated. Here we have journal watch. You have indicated 6 pipes, the dimensions of the pipe, the number of outlets, the total cost, and the tax. So we'll just go to the next part, that's the tank installation. In this case, still again, remember this company, we are told that they also offer tank installation services. I think that one you got it. So in this case, we will add a record. Then we can choose a client again. I'm gonna still use journal watch. Then the capacity. Remember the tank capacities are fixed. So either we have 1,000, 1,350, 1,500, whichever the clients want. So let's say 1,900 liters. So the date of installation, the user may be requested on 7th. And the number of tanks, maybe he wanted just 1 tank. Then we can calculate the totals. So he will pay us a total of 780 shillings and a tax of 124. So we'll save that. Again, if you want to view the report, I see here the button is missing. I'll add it, but we can still go to the reports here, the reports tab, and say tanks installation. We can see journal watch here, page 780. His tank is this amount. The date of installation will be this, number of tanks, total cost, and the tax. So that's the tanks installation. Then the other thing we have now, we come to the reports. So we have, I have simplified for you, just have all the command buttons for all the reports. So we start with the plumbing services. It should display the plumbing services report. Then we have the client registration, displays all clients that are registered in the system. Then we have the purchase report. This one shows you all the purchases that are made together with the survey fees, the local authority fees, the drilling services that is offered, the fee paid, the pump type, the date of request, the total, and still the tax. So I can close that. Then we have the tanks installation. So here, as you can see, there are 5 tanks that I've installed. 5 clients have asked for tanks installation services, and they are provided accompanied with their dates, so we can close that. Then we go to the settings tab. This one is for your own purpose only. You can decide to edit the details of your company. If mine is Uzima, Borehole, Drillng system, then you can choose your chief executive officer. Let's say captain can appoint. Then I get a message box that he has been appointed. You can click on OK. Then the other thing, we have the account. This is where now the accounting goes on. It shows me I have a total of 14 clients. I have earned 2,674,000 from my sales. Also, I have earned 51,400 shillings from plumbing services. And on this side, we have the total tanks that are installed. In this case, there are 6 installed tanks. Remember, we've just added another one. Then we have the survey earnings, amounts to 49,000 shillings. So the fees collected from the surveys. Then we have the local authority fees, which is 100,000. Then we have the other one, which is boreholes that are drilled. There are 4, because we saw in the purchase tab. I think we can go there again. I think there is an error there. I'll correct it. There's supposed to be 5, but don't you worry, I'll correct that for you. Maybe it has not yet added, but it should be 5 boreholes that are drilled. It's okay, just refresh it. Then here we have tanks installation earnings. I've earned a total of 5,160 shillings from the tanks earnings. So that is a basic overview of how the project look like. You can still get it at an affordable fee. I'll leave the link to contact me so that she can give you the database together with its documentation. The other thing I want to go is the relationships of this system. So if I can go back here are my tables, my queries, my forms, and reports. But at least you must have 5 forms, 5 reports, 5 queries, 5 tables, like that. So we go to the relationships. Let's close this. So with me here, I have the relationships. Remember that each table that you add in this system must be related to each other. Like for example here, the primary table here is the members table. This the registration table. In this case, if we check how it relates with the purchase table, we see that we are told here in the system that clients who are registered are required to apply. So in this case, the question here was a client, a name here should not be one or a name that is entered here should be found in the registration table, because you have to be registered for you to receive the services. So I can create one link, name and the client name. And in this case, I think you know about referential integrity. This rule here will prevent you from entering a name in the purchase table that does not exist in the registration table, because you have to be registered so that you receive the services. So you have to enforce a referential integrity. Then we come to we can still look some other links here, but at least you are required to have 5 links. Let me expand this for you. Okay, again here, a name that is provided in the tanks installation table must still exist in the registration table. So this is still another one. You still have to enforce the referential integrity. Then still in the purchase table related to the survey table, remember that every survey option that you choose must exist in the survey table. So you still have to link them up and enforce the referential integrity. Then we still have the purchase table. The type of pump that you choose here must exist in the pump installation table. So you link again and ensure you enforce the referential integrity. Then again, the plumbing services, in this case, links to the pipe types table. In this case, because you have to choose a pipe of type that exists in the pipe types table. So you have to again enforce a referential integrity using this link. I think you've seen it. Then still remember in the tanks installation, you have to enter the capacity of your tank, and it still must exist in the tank capacity. So you link up using this. Let me highlight it for you. That link, and still you ensure referential integrity. The other thing, you have to again look up each field how it is related with the other. Like in the plumbing table, we still have the type of pipe. It must still exist in the pump installation. So again, you link it up and you enforce a referential integrity. I'll ensure that later. So that was an overview of the relationships. You just ensure that your tables are related to each other. All these tables you must place them here, except for a few. Like me, I didn't have the settings because it doesn't relate here. That is another one. But in this case, I have 9 tables, excluding the settings table. This should be 9, and I guess you'll calculate that and see. So that is my relationship. I hope you guys have understood. I was just gonna show you. Let me open up my system again. You can have a look now. I guess now everyone can understand it the way it is. The project is very cheap. Goes for only 1,200 shillings. I'll leave you the link in the description. You can contact me in case you want it. Remember, it comes with this system together with its documentation. You see, or you know that you have to prepare a write-up. So both of them are available at that fee. So I'll leave the link in the description so that you can reach out to me and get this system. Yeah, as you can see here, the details are refreshed once again. And remember, I told you that the boreholes must be 5 because if you go back to the reports pane and say where is it, purchase, you see these details amount to 5. So I think the other time I had not saved it, but now it reflects that the boreholes are 5, the tanks still are 7. Because if we have the tanks installation, this should be 5, sorry, not 7. I guess I'll have to look at the criteria again. Yeah, but those are all my earnings, as you can see there. We have the fees, the plumbing, the total clients, the sales, the tanks installation, and the borehole, and the likes. So with me here, I just have a sidebar with me. One advantage of this is that you can navigate very easily. You don't have to struggle. Just click on the buttons and it navigates effectively. As you can see, I'm not struggling to close forms, to maybe open forms and like that. I'm just clicking the buttons on the side menu and the details are displayed. So you can get this project at the fee that I've said. So I'll leave the link in the description. You can WhatsApp me for the full database. Just how you've seen it here is the way it will still come. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So until next time, hoping to be posting more videos on the same, because still there is a lot of tutorials that you guys need, because this project was a bit let's say complicated, but it is still doable. So hoping you guys enjoyed the video. I will be posting more videos soon. Remember, your project must still do all of this and still calculate the tax and all those. So thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Thank you.